Unsyndicated presents Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian.
All right, let's get to it. He's Shep. I'm Sean. Hi. Shep, the World Series is so captivating because you've got the poor, small market, little Toronto, I almost called them Maple Leaf, little Toronto Blue Jays who don't spend any money. I mean, they're really sticking it to the man, right?
Yeah.
Let's get that out of the way right now.
That's why everybody's rooting for him, Sean. It's not because Vladdy walked in with a Mitch Marner or Austin Matthews jersey. I can tell you that.
It's been a fun series though, right? It's been a really fun series. I have no issue with it.
Yeah, it's been great. I wonder if, Trey Yasevich or Blake Snell last night, gave us everything in the tank. I mean, Yasevich threw 111 pitches. Oh my God, he got into triple digits. I can't believe that. Blake Snell, they left Blake Snell out for 116 pitches.
How could they?
He gave us everything in the tank, Sean.
How
everything
could they?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me, Shep. It really is. It's one of those things. When I watch these guys do that's like legitimately, Shep. That's the kind of stuff that just makes you shake your head because I'm sorry. It is the playoffs, and you have to find a way. Great story though. I saw you post it. Did you post it or did you put it in our dumb Woodward chat? There's a kid that was in Dunedin like 6 months ago, for goodness sake. It's a great story.
I posted it, yeah. Seven starts in Dunedin. That was low A. Then he went to high A. Then he went to double A. And then he went to triple A. And then the Blue Jays said, we got some injuries. We better call this young lad up. Let's start him. Oh, and let's start him a couple of games in the World Series. Let's see if he can set a record. Let's see what happens. Wow. Actually, young guys do perform, or when given the chance, aren't afraid to fail.
Imagine that.
What a concept.
Incredible concept. Good evening, guys. Tom in London. Hello. Kool-Aid. Hello to you. The rookie pitcher for the Jays is having an outstanding series. Hey, listen, all jokes aside, Shep, if they go on to win this, which I am not counting my eggs in that basket. I'm sorry. I've seen it too many times, especially with Yamamoto going. I'm not counting on anything right now. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Dodgers took the next two, but the kid would garner some serious MVP consideration. I really believe that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. It's all Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
It's Guerrero, no doubt, but I think the consideration would be there, right?
I can't see it. I just see if the Jays win, it's Guerrero. If the Dodgers win, it's Ohtani. I mean, I think it's as simple as that. Even though Ohtani went 0 for 4 last night.
How dare he?
I know, just because of all the things. No Dodger really is smacking the ball around. Alex, no. I don't think so. Sorry. No one's really having a good hitting series. And Dave Roberts said, look, we got to figure it out. We got to figure out these hitters. What does it show you besides the money? Try to put that aside, because remember, the Milwaukee Brewers, they don't spend as much money as the Tigers, and they were in the NLCS. Now, I know they got swept. My point is they were there. They went further than Detroit, okay? Cleveland spends less than Detroit. They went further than the Tigers a year ago. What does it tell you?
Shep, it tells me the same thing that I, by the way, our buddy Ryan Galinsky. What's up, Ryan? Woodward Sports in the house. It tells me the same thing that I have been saying. You can make a cute little run if you're the Rays. You can make a cute little run if you're the Brewers. You can make a cute little run if you're the Guardians. I'm going to believe it when I see it. When a team in the 20s that is spending, just for example, the Tigers are spending $100 million less than the Jays.
Right.
The Jays are spending $95 million less than the Dodgers. Okay, so you're talking about $195 million more the Dodgers are spending. You can have a cute little run. You might win a series. You might win a couple series. Shep, I'll believe it when I see it. When one of those teams win a World Series, I'm sorry. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Remember with the whole luxury tax thing,
Mhm.
the Dodgers are over 500 mil.
Easily.
Okay,
Easily.
so it's really more than 95 if you think about it with the Blue Jays.
Mhm.
Okay, because once you hit, what is it, 315? So I forget
Mhm.
exactly the number. 315, that luxury tax hits. So when people say there is no salary cap, they're right to a certain extent. But when that luxury tax hits, it might as well be a salary cap, right? And that's going to be a bone of contention for the MLBPA and the owners. And that's why next year, enjoy it, because the year after, it's going to be a long time before you see baseball. And I like
More
it.
more on that in a second. Ray said Vladdy October is what fans expected from Miggy when they went to the 2 World Series. Well, he wasn't here for the one in 06. He wasn't here for that one, but you're absolutely right in 2012. I mean, just the bats went ice cold. And like Shep, to me, that series was over like that. I know it was 4 games, but it just seemed like 4 minutes. It was like, what? What?
Mhm.
We were favored in another series and got smoked again? What the hell happened? Baseball and their cap stuff is basically mid-major football school versus Alabama. When you think about it, really makes the 03 Marlins such an anomaly. Shep, we go to 2027?
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Well, what about the Brewers, or not the Brewers, but what about the Royals?
If I recall,
we're going back to the Marlins, and remember, the Marlins had big names on it.
right.
Okay. So when you talk about teams that, even if you got there, if you're looking at teams that didn't spend a lot of money, okay, and were a surprise because of that, and we're just talking about recent memory, right? You would have to go back. Like, I'm not going to count the 91 Twins, but you'd have to go back 15 Royals. Is that fair? Probably, right? Everybody else, think about maybe the Washington Nationals, but they spent a lot of money on Strasburg, spent a lot of money on Scherzer. Okay. Everybody else is in that upper echelon. I've always been the one, Sean, to say, if you don't have to spend a lot of money. You got to spend money wisely.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can truly win a world championship in baseball if you're in the Tigers range of 160, 170. Okay. I really believe that. Just because you're spending more money doesn't mean that you're going to put a better team out there. Hello, New York Mets. But your championship has been Dodgers, Rangers, Astros, Braves, all these different teams, right, that we could go on and on and on, that spend a lot of money. Instead of looking at the financial aspect of it, I look at the wins above replacement. And this is not earth moving stuff on my part. This is something I learned from Kirk Gibson. Look at the champions over the years and look at where their everyday player wins above replacement numbers are.
Right.
And most of them 28, 29, 30, 31, right? Now go look at where the Tigers were this year for their wins above replacement. You add up their starting lineup, you add up their position players, and they pale in comparison. That's where you've got to get better.
You know what the Royals did too, Shep, if I recall, and you guys can fact check me, is the lineup itself wasn't really expensive, but when it was time to go and spend, they went and spent.
How many times have you said that this year, Sean? Seriously.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. I mean, I'm not saying you're the only one.
Yeah. Oh, it's real. It's real.
Okay. I mean, it's absolutely real. I mean, those are legitimate concerns. You've got to do it. But, you've got to get innings out of your starters. I'm a big believer in this. You got to get innings out of your starters, and you got to get WAR out of your team. Detroit's WAR this year was 19, Sean. 19 for their everyday players. That's not taking into account your starting pitching and all that other stuff. Okay. So if you look at that, and then who do you want to look at? You want to look at the Blue Jays, right? Go look at and look at last year with Detroit and where the wins above replacement were too. You can't get there. You've got to have a much, much higher ceiling. This year, the Toronto Blue Jays, and their, not just their starting lineup, but their position players, you know what their WAR is? 30.6.
Jeez.
Okay. Detroit's, again, let me reiterate, 19.
Yeah.
Do you realize how much better of a player you have to make that up? A 2.5 WAR player is an all-star player, Sean.
Yep.
You are roughly 10 wins above replacement lower then the American League champion. How do you make up that with 5 key players? I mean,
And
that's galling to me.
we're losing our best player too, which is I'm surely we'll get a boatload for him. As somebody said, the return for Scuba, it'll be fantastic, right? And no doubt.
Well, what do you think it'll be?
I don't think it'll be as big as I think some people will make it out to be, Shep. I think right now we're dealing from a point of weakness, and I think every other general manager knows it. And if you're a contending team and a team that can afford, because nobody's going to trade for him to say, well, we'll make him a rental, right? I mean, the team that's going to trade for him is going to say to Scott Boras, what do we have to do? Okay, here's your check and everything. So the way that I look at it, Shep, if I'm a team of contention, and I say this all the time with the NHL trades, okay? Think of it from the opposite side. Don't think of it from our side. Think of it from the opposite side.
100%. Yeah.
So I'm Brian Cashman right now, okay? If I'm Brian Cashman, I say to myself, are you out of your mind? Why would I give you anybody of any consequence from my everyday lineup? What the bleep is going on in your head? I'm not doing something like that. Those cute little prospects that my fan base killed me for, that I didn't trade at the deadline that could have made us better. Now I'm going to trade those cute little prospects that surely won't miss for Scuba. But I'm not giving you anything of confidence. If I think my window is now, why would I give you anything of consequence, right?
Well, they're not. I don't think the Yankees have a lot on their major league roster that
they're the Yankees. They think that, though.
They think that, yeah. So what you would have to do, and what's going to happen is, like, if you had signed Scooble a year ago, you could have done it for $300 million,
yep.
280, 300 million, right?
Yep.
I'm just ballparking here. If you have to do it after next year, after he wins the second straight Cy Young this year, and then next year has another good, solid season, why would we think anything different? Sorry, if I'm projecting the guy what he's done the last 2 years, it's going to cost at least $100 million more.
Yeah,
we all know what Scott Boras is famous for. If you try to trade him in this offseason, or even before the deadline, you will get. I'm going to guess here, 3 prospects who might be on the verge of major league ready.
Yep.
That's what I would guess. And I've talked to a couple of baseball insiders. I talked to Ron Blum earlier today. He writes for the Associated Press. He agrees with me. Those are the things I don't know where he goes. He goes, Seattle's got 8 guys in the top 100. They're prospects. They've got 8 guys in the top 100. And by the way, they sold at the trade deadline.
Yep.
They went and got Suarez. They went and got Naylor. I know, what did it matter? But they did. They went out and got guys. Look what Toronto did. Toronto went out and got key minor pieces. They didn't blow you away with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa or some of their bullpen arms, but they're really effective. They filled gaps that they noticed, okay? And you've got other teams just sitting around picking their nose and saying, we're going to wait another year. It's a dangerous philosophy, okay? Now, somebody said that the Royals in 2015, there was 5 innings, and no, it was 6 innings. And then they went with Wade Davis, and then they went with Kelvin Herrera, and then they went with Greg Holland. It was 6 innings, which is basically what you hope to get out of Casey Mize in the postseason, except he gets pulled after, 3 strikeouts in 3 innings and 1 run allowed.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, don't even get me started there. But that's how they built it. Yeah.
And I want to go back to what you said. I don't think the average human being understands what's coming in 2027, Shep. And you tell me if I'm wrong here. I think they are at their NHL post 2004 level, where the owners finally, for the first time, every one of them, and there were a couple owners that didn't want to jump in, okay?
Yep.
Every one of them said, we can't continue like this.
Right.
We can't. You had the Jeremy Jacobs of the world from the Boston Bruins saying, this has to change. Then you had the rich guy, Snyder in Philly. You had Mr. Illich in a certain regard, even though the misnomer is that Hockey Town wasn't losing money. Hockey Town lost $10 million that year. I need to let people know that.
Yeah, the only way they were going to make money, I believe, is if they made the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep.
That's what I was told.
So, and I think I told you, I had an owner tell me with his own mouth, and if you think real hard, I bet you can figure out who it was. I had an owner tell me with his own mouth, I don't mind losing money. I think a lot of my owner friends don't mind losing money. We don't want to bleed money. I mean, that's that. So when that is your starting position, they were going to dig their heels in. Now, Shep, I'll be honest with you. By the time February came around that year, I kind of thought that they were going to get it done, but they obviously didn't get it done. I don't know what the cap's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to be a hard cap, if it's going to be a soft cap, if it's going to be cost certainty. But Shep, there's no doubt in my mind, and you tell me if you disagree. I really think they're at their NHL moment, and they could lose a significant portion of the year, if not the whole year.
I don't want to be hyperbolic, but it wouldn't surprise me either, because I feel they have the same mindset. You know what the fans are going to say, and this is where owners, I hope they understand this, and I'm sure they do, but they just don't care, is that fans are going to side with the players, period.
Yep.
Because they know how much all these organizations are worth. I mean, think about it for a second. I mean, Golden State Warriors are worth $11 billion. The Pistons are worth $3.65 billion. You think people in Los Angeles or people in Boston or people in New York are going to side with the owners when you've got ownership paying, all kinds of different salaries that are out of control? Juan Soto's getting over $700 million, and you're going to cry poor? Why not tell the owners, hey, have some self-control? Instead of letting the agents run everything, have some self-control. The problem with that is none of them can.
You got it.
They need somebody.
They have to police themselves, Shep.
Yeah.
They do. You're right.
They need someone to hold their hand and say, don't do that, because the temptation is too great. Mm-hmm. Sean, don't touch the stove. It's hot. Mom, I want to. Let him touch it. It'll serve him right. And then what happens?
Yep.
That's exactly what's going on.
Taking your sorry ass to the hospital. Oh, no. Bubble over. 3rd degree.
Put some mud on it. It'll be better.
Let me tell you about All About Catering. All About Catering LLC, full service caterer, graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering can and will take care of you. For Rick and his staff, service and customer satisfaction is their number one goal. So don't sweat your next big event. Go to allaboutcateringllc.com today. Check out their menus and their 5-star reviews. Give them a call at 586-731-1398 to get your event started. Austin, I'm going to tell you something, and I don't want you to think I'm being a douche, okay? And Shep, I don't know, you were a Heisman Trophy voter at one time, or are you still?
No, I was, but okay. I no longer am.
Yep. We are not allowed to talk about it. And
well, you can't. From what I remember, you can't talk about who you chose, but you can talk about it. You can talk about who's in the discussion.
I can mention some names. I can mention some names, but to be honest with you, I don't even want to
I don't think there's anything clear this year. You don't have to comment. I would tell you this, Austin. I don't think there's anything clear. I think when people look at it, Fernando Mendoza, okay. I know it's hard to vote for an Indiana quarterback, for crying out loud. Ty Simpson in Alabama.
I'm sorry, I had something in my throat.
Yeah. You like Marcel Reed? Is that who you like?
I didn't say anything, Shep. I had something in my throat.
Yeah. If that Diego Pavia, oh my God, if he gets it, I will. I don't know if we'll ever be able to.
He's so fun to watch, though. I mean, I know he can't throw, but he's fun to watch. That's all I'm going to say. He can't throw.
At what point are we going to stop just calling it the Heisman and just say it? It's another example of the Peyton Manning Award, or the Johnny Unitas Award, because it all comes down to quarterbacks, which I think is the biggest shame. Because I remember a number of times when I've had votes, I don't go that route. I voted for Vontae Te'o. I did. I'm like, you know what? I think he's the best player in America, so I'm voting for him. Now, obviously, he didn't win, but that's what I did. I think we get lost. I think everybody does this, not you perhaps, but I think everybody gets lost in, okay, the sexy position that we can associate stats with. Team's got to win, and the team we see is a lot. We see a lot. It's hard to see everybody in the country and know just how good Dante Moore is compared to Ahmad Hardy, the running back in Missouri. How do you compare a quarterback at Oregon and a running back at Missouri? How do you take a look at Ty Simpson and compare him to Jeremiah Love, the running back at Notre Dame? I don't know how you do that, right? So if we see a lot in the Midwest, if you see the West, I know you're responsible. I used to stay up late watching West Coast games, talking about guys, but how do you measure the impact of those players? And then you feel like, is everybody else doing the same? And I can't help but wonder if they are, because they're listening to Paul Feinbaum and all these other, Kirk Herbstreit's on ESPN and going, hey, maybe they're right. Maybe I should do that. I think it's been cheapened a little bit in that regard, just like the Hall of Fame votes have been cheapened.
When people say West Coast bias, there's more validity than anybody wants to admit, for the reason that you just gave. Because there are, Shep, I'm still one of the younger guys, and I'm older than dirt. I am still one of the younger guys that votes, and those guys aren't staying up watching some game at 10:30 at night on the left coast.
They don't even know who the quarterback is out there. Are you kidding me? They have no idea. I mean, look, I don't want to put a scar on this whole thing. And I guess to a certain extent, I understand what you're talking about. I do believe USC is tied with Notre Dame for most Heisman Trophy winners. So if there's a West Coast bias, I mean, Oklahoma's up there too. I don't know how much of there's a West Coast bias, but maybe it's creeping in a little bit more and more on a regular basis, because you're right. A lot of the old timers are not staying up.
Don't do it.
They're not watching UCLA. They're not watching those teams out west. But if you look at, they would argue this, if you look at the most Heisman trophies by school, I think it's Notre Dame, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it's Notre Dame, USC, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And is Ohio State in there? Ohio State's probably in there somewhere.
Probably, yeah. Pete said, amazing catering. Rick is the best. I agree. They've done things for our life. Ray said, the NHL CBA is a joke when you have the best player in the world making what a backup center makes in the NBA. Jaden Ivey, who's been hurt in his career and can get paid $90 to $100 million.
Look, that's not the point. I mean, I understand your frustration.
I do too.
And hockey players deserve more than they get. But listen, dude, that's not what it's based on. It's not based on how great one player is compared to another player in his sport. It is, look, it's criminal that Larry Bird makes less than Terry Rozier in the NBA, okay? And it's criminal that Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid and players like that don't make more than some backup point guards or small forwards in the NBA. But that's the way it goes because of ticket sales and because of broadcasting rights more than anything else. Sorry.
What caused now the late Bob Goodenow to lose his job and for the players to literally fold? And when that happened back in 04-05, as God is my witness, I said it on the air. I said it's over. Now it's just a question of how much the owners get. When Bob Goodenow called out the owners and said, open your books. We dare you to open your books. Every single owner said, here you go. And at that, Bob Goodenow was done at that moment, because the revenue, like Ray.
But he was right. He was right to ask that.
You're right. Like, I echo everything that Shep said, but unfortunately, the revenue stream, the profit isn't there compared to other sports. That's just the reality of the game that we love. That's just the reality of it.
Here's what I would ask anybody who takes the stance that, hockey players deserve more, and I can't believe they don't get more. I get it. Do you feel the same way about NCAA athletes who now get paid? Do you feel like the third string quarterback or the second string quarterback at whatever school, Michigan State, Michigan, whatever, deserve, and they don't play. They don't play at all. Do they deserve more money than the starting center at that school? Michigan State's number 1 in the country. Michigan's number 2. Western's number 3. Do you think that second string quarterback deserves more than at Michigan State, deserves more than the starting goalie at Michigan State? And they're number 1 in the country. The answer to that, unfortunately, is no, because that second string quarterback plays in front of more people and they have a bigger TV deal. Now that sucks. And I know it sucks, but that's the reality. I don't think the person who said that is as pissed off about that aspect of it as they would be the professional aspect.
And Shep, at the end of the day, it's that is what is somebody willing to pay? You know what I mean? I mean, really, that's what is somebody somewhere is willing to pay that, which is insane to me, but here we are.
Agreed.
Indiana has me punching air. How are they so good? And not just for 1 year. Signetti has crazy eyes. I think Michigan State should go with the crazy guy method for their next coach. Hire crazy eyes guy. I say it again. Nobody thought that Mark D'Antonio was the home run hire that he was. Nobody did.
One game over 500 at Cincinnati.
That's just the way it is.
But you can't. Michigan State can't rely on that stuff.
No.
When we talk about you got to evolve. You have to. Michigan State has to do the same thing. And so, Mark D'Antonio is the best coach they've ever had. He's one of the best coaches in Big Ten history. You can't fall back to, well, Mark D'Antonio is this, so let's try to duplicate that model. The model is not really duplicatable, if there's such a word. Okay.
Nope.
The reason Kurt Cignetti is so good is his ability to use the portal. It's unbelievable. Okay. He's as good as any coach in America in doing that. And he's offensively, as an offensive mind, he's very gifted. You talk about a risk taker. Who the hell starts at just before Elon? Where was he? UIL or something like that, right? Who leaves Alabama as a wide receivers coach, making as much money as he did at Alabama, and says, I want to be a head coach. I'm going to go to the small school and kind of pay my dues. Right. I'm happy that he's gotten this. I really am. I think it's an awesome story. It's phenomenal. It's really energizing, quite honestly, and motivational. But I don't think Michigan State can do that kind of stuff. Who would you like to see Michigan State interview? Like, I would hope they would. I don't know if Drinkowitz would leave Missouri.
I would love that.
But
that's a great suggestion.
But why wouldn't you? Like, Michigan State has to stop feeling like, well, if I go into the same recruiting room as this big school, I can't win.
Yep.
Bullshit.
It's over.
What you need to do is you need to go into his office. Here's what I want to give you. This is the offer I'm giving you, but this is the opportunity that presents itself at Michigan State. This is how great it can be. And instead, I feel like everybody's like, well, let's go get a young coordinator now. I mean, I think that'll be great. We did it before, and that's a lot of work. And, it'll come around in 4 years or so. Well, everybody else is like, screw it, man. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go, let's go get Lane Kiffin. At least interview. And I'm not saying Michigan State should go to Lane Kiffin, but have a higher bar, for crying out.
And more on that in a second. Let me tell you about Lindsey Broadwell. When it comes time to get yourself a house, you're buying, you're selling, oftentimes both, you need the right agent. Who do we recommend? Who have we been talking about? That lady right there, Lindsey Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsey grew up in the area. She knows the area. She's expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan, an expert in all facets of the business. So when it's time to move, buyer, seller, even first-time buyer, make sure you contact Lindsey at BroadwellHomes.com. She'll help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Shep, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I know I've mentioned it a few times on the show. I was at the Notre Dame-Michigan State game in the year 2000, and I was having a very civil conversation with a well-known national writer, okay? And I always say this, I don't know if he wanted me to keep his name out my mouth, so I never got permission to repeat this, but this well-known national writer looked at me when we were up in the press box at Michigan State and said, Michigan State is a sleeping giant. And I kind of went like that. I'm not going to lie. I really did. I kind of went like that and everything. And he looked at me like all shocked, and he goes, you get the right guy in here, you are going to win multiple Big Ten championships. You can become a national brand. I think, and he was like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 29. And he was like, you aren't old enough to remember. It's not that long ago, okay? Shep, a decade later, 3 straight years where they were a top 5 program, 3 straight years where they finished 1, 2, and 1 in the Big Ten. And they've already shown they can do that. And so I couldn't agree with you more.
And it's better now because of they have better facilities.
100%. So the old school, well, we're Michigan State. That's never going to happen for us. That I was guilty of. I don't believe it anymore.
But the problem with that, Sean, is that people, even though they've seen it, like you just pointed out, they still act that way. I had a buddy the other night. We went out to dinner with 3 other couples, and all 3 guys went to Michigan State, and 2 of the 3 women went to MSU. And actually, all 3 women went to MSU as well. And we were talking about Michigan State football, and one of my buddies goes, "Yeah, I think they should, get that coach in Toledo." And I said, "Oh, okay. I mean, what do you like about him?" I really like him. And I looked at him and I said, well, "What's his name?" And he's like, I forget. I said, "So you want Jason Candle and you don't even know his name?"
Yeah.
I said, do you follow them at all this year?" He's like, no, I don't. I said, what is this? I said, by the way, they're 4-4, which they are, and I think he's a good coach. I'm not saying he should be Michigan State. I said, but why wouldn't you go get Drunkowitz or get Dillingham? And then he's like, well, who are they? I'm like, well, you've got to have an idea, dude. Okay. And your belief that I can always go small, because they always use D'Antonio as the damn example. I can always go small and then build him up. Oh, and then what, possibly lose him? Stop being the doormat. Go knock on doors of coaches that other programs don't want to lose, but you're too good of an opportunity to pass up. Whether that be Matt Campbell, whether it be Dillingham, whether it be Drinkowitz, I don't care. But stop with you know what? Why don't we go get Mountain Union's offensive coordinator, because he's done a really nice job of moving the football between the 20s.
Yeah. Brian Kelly to Michigan State would make a good move. He was overwhelmed with the expectation at LSU.
Well, let me tell you something, man. Really good at Grand Valley. I know. 2 national championships, improved Central, really good at Cincinnati. You don't want that. I promise you, you don't want that. A guy who has,
everybody's got a story, Shep. Everybody's got a Brian Kelly story.
But everybody's got a bad story.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
The problem. Okay. Yep. And when you're guilty of spending too much time on the golf course rather than recruiting, when you treat your assistants poorly, and when you have players who are rebelling against you and not playing hard, then I think that's, you just want the name. When you bring that up, all you want to do is bring up a name instead of going about and getting the best coach. You're the same person who, as a general manager of a football team, basketball team, whatever, drafts for need instead of getting the best player.
Yep.
No to Brian Kelly.
100% agree with you. Hey, the Lions are a really good franchise, Shep. I just wanted to point that out. They were all jokes aside, after being bottom of the barrel for a vast majority of our life, the way that they do business and locking up Hutch the way they did, Shep, it's smart. Brad Holmes is always thinking one move ahead. I just needed to throw that to you because you and I have been kicked in the face so many times by this franchise. And every now and again, we need to remind ourselves what a tremendous franchise this place is.
It's a gold standard now, I think, in the NFL. I think players know it too. You and I covered them when they were so bad, but remember a couple of years ago, an agent said, look, I've talked to a lot of my clients. They want to play for Detroit. That tells you something. That's number one. When you have national members of the media, and I don't like Ryan Clark, quite honestly. I think he's a self-promoting pompous ass. I disagree with a lot of stuff that he does. I think he gets political. I think he gets race baited. But what he does do is he's got contacts in football. And when he comes out and he says, hey, you know what? If I'm a player, I want to play for Detroit, and they do it the right way. Brad Holmes wanted to see what Aidan Hutchinson could deliver, made him a promise, and he fulfilled the promise.
Yep.
Braylon said this really good the other day on his show. The Trinity. You've got Sheila Ford Hemp. She deserves a lot of credit. She doesn't get nearly enough credit. Thank you, ma'am, for all that you've done. Brad Holmes, Chris Spielman, and Dan Campbell. So I threw Spielman in there because the Trinity was owner, GM, coach. I would throw Spielman in there because he's been a bigger influence than people realize. He just doesn't want to tell anybody about it, and nobody wants to bother him with it because they're afraid he's going to tackle them. So I think those guys being all on the same page. And can I just add this? It's not just the fact that Aidan Hutchinson's taken care of, and rightfully so, and they're going to do it with more players. But look at what happened today, Sean. John Morton, the offensive coordinator, talked to the media, and what did he say? I've
failed you.
I have failed Jameson Williams. How did Jameson Williams respond? I can't be all that mad when we're winning games.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It's a long season. I'll get mine. He didn't grab his blanket and do his best impersonation of a Peanuts character and go in the corner. That tells me an awful lot too. I think but I would say this, and you would probably agree, they got to win the Super Bowl.
100%. Yep. That we're in that era now, Shep, where anything less than the Super Bowl is a fail to me. And I know people don't think. I'm sorry, that's where we're at right now, right?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
If you're ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than those two handsome guys right there. The Wealth Advantage Group. They're located in historic downtown Northville. Two brothers that understand your financial goals are as unique as you are. They offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Doesn't matter where you're at in life. You're a few years away from retirement. Maybe you're even already retired. Heck, it's 35 years down the line. You want to tap in with these guys. I kid you not. My son, he's tapped in with them. He's getting started. No matter where you are on that path, these are guys that can guide you. The investment world is a complex one. If you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it's time to work with the experts. Reach out to my guys at the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574. Check out their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Shep, anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, I want to say one more thing, just because of your passion for hockey. I think it's really cool in sports where we can change our minds about certain athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really hard to do. Bryson DeChambeau always comes to mind. A lot of people used to hate him, but now I think they really like him. Social media has helped, but he's changed his ways. There's a hockey player who did something the other day that I don't know if I've ever heard of. And he basically told his team, I am not playing in a game because I'm going to coach in a game that will benefit a young lady who lost her life.
Yep.
That player, it is easy to dislike because of the way he plays. You would want him on your team, but when you play against him, you can't stand him as the opposition. And his name is Brad Marchand.
Yep.
So I know people call him the Rat. My kids, all three of my boys said the same thing about him. But after him deciding to do that and doing what he did, I was reading the article and I was almost crying.
Classy guy. Classy guy. No doubt.
Classy. Yeah. Hell of a player.
Here I thought you were going to talk about how you were bagging on Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki all last year, and now you were going to give it the comeuppance and talk
about it. I did that. I think I followed your lead on that because you were drooling all over them, and I said they are pretty damn good. But okay, we can keep pushing that along. That's
you know what? It's fun right now with the Habs and the Wings up there. That's fun. The Atlantic Division is tough enough as it is, and you have two younger teams up there. Well, the Habs are the youngest team in the league. It's fun right now. This is cool.
Yeah, it's great for the Wings. I don't care about the Habs. I know you do. It doesn't matter to me one bit. But yeah, it's good hockey. I mean, they had a stumble of a couple of games, and then when they finally won Detroit, they were down 4-0 and came back against St. Louis. But I thought they played a really good game against the Blues the other night. They had a really good start to the road trip, and then they've got LA tonight. We'll see what happens. LA hasn't won at home yet this year. But Dylan Larkin, you and I had this conversation about a number one center. He is playing like one.
Yeah.
Early on. I know a long way to go, but credit where credit is due. He's been really, really good. And by the way, how good was your guy the other night, Sidney Crosby, who scored again in a 3-2 overtime loss to the Philadelphia Flyers, a team, Pittsburgh, that many people thought would have to break down and rebuild, and he could be on the trading block. Doesn't seem like it anymore, does it?
Him and Malkin. It's like they fell and they think it's 2015 again. They're both off to great starts. It's insane,
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, hey, Shep, have a great weekend. We'll catch up.
Well, good luck tomorrow, buddy. Always good to have you. See you.
Yeah, God bless you, Todd. Keep up alive. Thanks to all you guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
Shep and Sean, featuring Matt Shepard and Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Still Alive by Anti-Ghost. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.
So I'm saying